Sorry for the lack of videos. I got a bunch of videos to upload too. It's just arthritis and fucking this weather's been fucking me up. Just coming from outside right now. It's 51 out right now. It was humid and cold. Oh wow, look at that balloon. That was a perfect shot. That was perfecto. I was wondering where I'm going to catch a plane going right there. Shit, if I saw it a second sooner, I would have got better zoom on it. Let's see about this guy. This guy came and made a deal with us. I don't know what country. Chinese? I don't know. Oh, he did make a deal. This is China. This is the video I was talking about. And I'm not playing this stupid ad.
Countries from making any trade deals with the United States, as countries like Japan and South Korea have begun negotiations with the Trump administration. China's Commerce Ministry releasing a statement saying, quote, China fully opposes any party reaching a deal at the expense of China's interests. If this happens, China will never accept it, and it will resolutely take countermeasures in a reciprocal manner. China is determined and capable of safeguarding its own rights and interests. Joining me now is Heritage Foundation Senior Fellow for China Strategy, Fox News contributor, and author of the 100-Year Marathon, Michael Pillsbury. Michael, it's great to see you again. Thanks for coming back.
Thank you, Cheryl.
So, what do you make about this? Again, these are threats. This is language that is coming from the CCP that they're going to find a way to circumvent the United States, make deals with others, strong arm other countries.
Fuck China.
Big debates
We're going to strong arm them back.
Over the last few years has been how strong are the hardliners around Xi Jinping.
With making America, with made in America,
kind of with the pro-Mao kind of left-wingers on one side and then the hardliners on the other. When this kind of statement comes out, it's a sign to us that Xi Jinping is under pressure. He's got to say something anti-American. They already say a lot of anti-American things. That we're on the decline, that we're corrupt. There's even been a couple times that sort of fragmented to pieces. It's kind of the equivalent
either
of
A, I was going too slow for him, or B,
the collapse of America. So he's under pressure. There's some rumors coming out of Beijing that there's some sort of power struggle going on, that the sons of a couple of leaders who were reformers are now criticizing Xi Jinping on the one side, and then the other side is the hardliners could be much stronger than we thought. This is not good news for us. They did seem to soften, Cheryl, last week. They said, well, Mr. Trump would just name a point man, one person to represent him, then they would start the talks. I somehow think that's not true. That's kind of the reformers trying to speak up. But Mr. Trump still has not named the point man who's going to be in charge of the talks. Last time, as you know, it was Bob Lighthizer, sometimes Treasury Secretary. But this is not looking like a smooth situation with the Chinese at all. It's looking the opposite. That it's I'm getting more pessimistic about the talks getting going.
Well, the South Koreans are coming this week, so there's at least those discussions underway. And we know that the Japanese have been here. But one of the things that China's doing, and this is interesting, they're now returning two Boeing MAX airplanes to the U.S. Beijing ordered their airlines not to take any deliveries of Boeing aircraft in response to the tariffs, but these two planes were already at a field in China. CCP says send them back. And then in the auto sector, Ford is stopping shipments of some of its most popular cars to China because they will avoid the reciprocal tariffs on U.S. goods. Now, the Trump administration is moving forward with plans to put fees on Chinese ships at our ports in an attempt at breaking China's dominance on global shipping.
Yes, what's up, Trump? Show the rest of the world who's boss and let's start getting made in America
it's an escalation
again.
Show. I think President Trump was kind of trying the sweet approach, referring to Xi Jinping many times, including during the campaign, as my friend Xi Jinping. But what President Trump has had to do in the last month is keep raising the tariffs. They just won't come to the table. This all happened again in the first term. When it took a year to get the first round of talks starting.
They don't want to lose all that money they've been making off us since the Bill Clinton free trade agreement.
If he doesn't stop these negative gestures toward us, it's just not looking good.
Interesting, Michael. Liz Peek is on set with me. She's got a question for you.
Good morning, Michael. There's an article in the Financial Times this morning about some of the big companies like Alibaba in China trying to source more material out of small factories in China. I'm hearing factories are closing all over China.
Yeah.
People are being laid off. That seems to me to be the big pressure point. What do you think? The Chinese consumer is historically and famously reluctant to buy or to up their purchases, but can this initiative from Alibaba and other companies actually take hold?
You're quite right. I've been watching Chinese television over the last couple of days. They are covering layoffs, factories closing, the number of containers that are not moving at all. So the Chinese Communist Party line in the last few days has been to highlight, look how much we're suffering. Yeah. Now, as you know, Liz, Xi Jinping has got his own power base. There's something like 500 families or so who are the owners or the beneficiaries of the state-owned enterprises. And they're the ones who are going to have to will be hurt the most if there's a deal with President Trump to drop tariffs. So we've got this so-called 500 families group that it doesn't care that much about layoffs and unemployment and the container ships being stopped. So I'm afraid we're going to see more negative gestures come out of Xi Jinping as he tries to reassure his base, Liz. The Make China Great Again base is very concerned about these numbers that you're citing.
Well, it also, too, I want to pick up on that because now they're reportedly sanctioning U.S. Congress members, officials, head of NGOs for their, quote, egregious behavior on Hong Kong-related issues. And this action is coming in response to the U.S., which sanctioned 6 Chinese and Hong Kong officials last month. Hong Kong's oldest and largest pro-democracy political party, they're going to be disbanding. Beijing obviously has more control over this city. Hong Kong was kind of one of those last, I guess, entry points, if you will, that seemed to be open, and it looks like that's going to be shut as well.
Yes, the big factor at play here is the delisting comment that our Treasury Secretary made, just hypothetically, that we may have to delist Chinese stocks. You've been talking about this for many years, Liz, and Cheryl, it's really the $1 trillion worth of capital that they get through the New York Stock Exchange. If we do delist them all at once, that's supposed to help Hong Kong. I noticed recently the Hong Kong market people are talking about how this will hurt Hong Kong. They cannot absorb that much capital all at once. So this is a very effective threat that our Treasury Secretary has made, and I think we're seeing some reactions to it. Again, it's a pessimistic sign that it has to go this far, and we still can't get China to come to the table for negotiations.
Yeah, Maria has made that point many times about the fact that you've got multiple Chinese companies that are listed on American exchanges, and she's brought that up many times. Yeah. Real quick, with regards to Iran, I do want to ask you this because this kind of goes back to that axis of evil, if you will. So Iran's foreign minister is set to visit China tomorrow, and there's nuclear talks between the U.S. and Iran that just happened over the weekend. Those are supposed to continue. The foreign minister visited Russia last week, saying that Iran always closely consults with friends. Russia and China over the nuclear issue, Michael. So these alignments, if you will, China, Iran, Russia, are they strengthening right now? Or do you think because of the Ukraine situation, Russia's going to pull back? Where are we right now, the state of play?
Iran keeps seeking promises from China that they will purchase gas and oil and other things from Iran. They'll have a stable sort of market for the next 5 years, despite the threats from Israel and America. This is for the last 10 years or so. I've tried to cover this 100-year marathon, Cheryl. This axis of these countries getting together on an anti-American basis, it's really dangerous for us. In terms of sanctioning, you mentioned sanctioning of American congressmen and senators over Hong Kong. The sanctions are also on Dan Sullivan of Alaska. He wants to reopen the ADAK, A-D-A-K, the island, and make it into a really powerful base for our forces, especially air forces, against China. So they're after him now. I notice the Chinese press picks out people it wants to demonize. And Senator Dan Sullivan of Alaska, retired Marine Corps colonel, he's their new punching bag. So they're picking out individual congressmen and then attacking them. Yes, right. And Iran, it seems to be a quasi-ally of China. We just don't seem to be able to split the relationship between Iran and China.
That's why these talks got so much attention over the weekend, and they haven't really produced results yet. Michael Pillsbury, it's always great to speak with you. Thank you so much for being with us. All right.
Thank you, Cheryl.
We'll be right back.
Want to try Ozempic?
No, I don't. Let's see what else I can find. Man, this weather's really kicking my ass, though. I feel like I'm on another planet where, like, the gravity is, like, twice the gravities of Earth. Not that I've ever been on another planet where the gravity is twice the gravity of Earth, but I'm sure I would imagine this is what it would feel like if you were walking around on the planet twice the gravity of Earth. I'd imagine this is how your body would feel. Very, very painful. I mean, I could be in a lot more pain. Let's just put it like that. It's gonna be worse where I wouldn't even be driving. I'd be stuck in a wheelchair. So, gotta be thankful for that at least.
Petroleum Reserve Alaska. All of those, we've reversed Biden decision. Those are all open for business again. And all of this is leading to the investment coming to America. The smart money is coming to the U.S. That's why we've got trillions of dollars of investment that are showing up at the door, because they know if they're going to do manufacturing, they're going to do energy to power their plants. And so, again, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for thank you.
Well, Mr. President,
what's up, wonderful? How are you doing today? Our future U.S. citizen from Canada.
31 years.
Actually,
now multiple administrations have allowed the Chinese
the whole thing.
to take away jobs and factories.
See the giant puddle right there?
And what you're doing now, I think, is a great service to our country, but ultimately to the world. And I want to congratulate you and your team that's working on that.
Where's your camera? I got curve. Oh wait, yellow light. I can read it now. Alright, sorry to hear your.
I mean, basically, we lived in a world where company.
Sorry to hear your country's having so much trouble with China. We're doing well with them. We're not having any trouble with China. China can fuck off, bro. We're gonna start making shit in America again. We're not having any trouble with China. If anything, China's gonna get put in their place because we're gonna start making shit here. If anything, China is the country that's having problems, because if you missed the beginning of the video, they were just saying about how a bunch of Chinese orders going to America, and the Chinese citizens are crying because they're left with all this overstock now that was supposed to originally get shipped to America, but now because of the tariffs they can't ship it to America. So now the Chinese are stuck with all this fucking bullshit Temu whack-ass, garbage-ass fucking Temu garbage where they take a picture of a little tiny motorcycle, but somehow they edit the photo and you think you're gonna get like a fucking a larger electric motorcycle, but really it's like smaller than the palm of your hand. Fuck Temu, fuck China, and fucking fuck that. We're gonna start doing Made in America again. China's gonna get put in their place. Wonderful said hi. Hi, Wonderful. Wonderful said bye then. Okay, well, bye, Wonderful. But yeah, China's gonna get put in their place. You missed it in the beginning of the video.
We
I already talked about all that. I'll talk about it again if you want.
No one's entitled to a student visa. The
Right.
press covers student visas like there's some sort of birthright. No.
Why are we giving student visas to fucking terrorists who are indoctrinating children to school to support Hamas, who's killing babies, raping women, fucking not giving the proper body corpses back to Israel? They were supposed to give a mom, and they had this big ceremony over like where they were like not like a respectful ceremony. It was like a disgraceful ceremony of them giving back the couple prisoners that looked like they aged fucking 40 years, but really it's only been like 5 or 10 years. And then the fucking dead body, there wasn't even the right remains of the right dead body. That's a slap in Israel's face too. Hamas is a bunch of fucking terrorist pieces of shit. And anyone at them schools, at those campuses supporting Hamas is also just as big of a terrorist and needs to get deported, even if they are a U.S. citizen. Send them asses to Guantanamo Bay. But we have free speech, and we're not like those communist countries, so they have the right to do that. But those motherfuckers don't understand. If they went and did that same shit with Hamas, and they tried to protest for gays, gay rights, Hamas would kill them motherfuckers. They're stupid. If they would go there and like try to protest for fucking women's rights, all those women that are fucking supporting Hamas, they'd fucking beat them women's and put a mask over their face where only their eyes are showing and says, "Shut up, you stupid bitch. You're our property." Now, like, these people are so fucking psychotic and dumb.
Stood for it, sitting in my position.
Hamas, I was talking about.
And we're talking about many presidents, not just a couple. But they did, and all we're doing is putting it back in shape. We're resetting the table.
My president is. Good job, Trump.
I'm sure that we'll be able to get along very well. I have great respect for President Xi. He's been, in a true sense, he's been a friend of mine for a long period of time. And I think that we'll end up working out something that's very
Yes,
good for
I believe so.
both countries.
So,
I
also
look forward
President
to it.
Trump.
Mr. President, China retaliated today by reducing the number of American films that can be shown there. What's your reaction to that?
Fuck them.
Targeting
Oh well,
experts?
that's my reaction.
I think I've heard of worse things.
For real, I have too. I think there's a lot worse things than films we need to be worried about.
Ukrainians say they have evidence that Chinese soldiers being found fighting for the Russians in Ukraine. Can the US verify this? And if so, what's the plan on doing to China to combat that?
We'll look into it, but I think beyond that, we're really looking to get that war stopped. They're losing 2,500 and even more than that young people a week. They're Russian and they're Ukrainian. They're not American, but they're people. And we're seeing if we can get it stopped. And I think we're making progress. I appreciate the ballerina who was released. That was at the request of a very good friend of all of ours, actually. Dana White called me and he said it's the friend or the relationship of one of the fighters, or UFC or one of the fighters.
Free speech.
And
They
Dana's an
don't
incredible
know
guy, and we
what
spoke to
they're
President
talking
Putin about
about.
it, and they made a deal. They released.
Hey, Big Sausage from Canada, you're right. There are some Americans that shouldn't have free speech because they don't know what they're talking about. Like that person Lou, whatever that bitch's name is, Lou something from Facebook. Fucking that bitch don't deserve no free speech because she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. And if Wonderful's that same person, Wonderful also don't deserve no free speech because Wonderful is fucking talking out of her ass with fucking brainwashed fucking shit that ain't even true. You're right. Those type of people shouldn't have free speech. But people with common sense should, like me and other people.
Mothers and fathers of some of the dead hostages, and they want the bodies of their baby, as they say, their baby, their young boys. They want them back as much as if they were alive. It's amazing because when I met the hostages 2 weeks ago here.
If you want to get your name, phone number, and address.
Yeah, me. Nope. I don't care what you guys say. No, I don't know. Let's get this shit.
So we're getting close to getting them back. We have a lot came back. A lot of people are very grateful. And some came back in pretty bad shape. Some came back, they're okay. I think they're going to be scarred mentally for a long time because if you sit down and talk to them, as I have, what they went through is incredible. We're making progress. We're dealing with Israel.
Let me read these comments real quick. Wonderful said hi. Wonderful said bye. Big Sausage from Canada. Some Americans should have. Okay, I read that. Anonymous 13 sounds like you're a legend in your own mind. I don't know if that. Big. Okay, retracted message. Whatever. All right. No, Trump's the legend, not me.
And Howard and some of the other people that work with us on the negotiations.
Maybe one day I'll be running for
They
president.
paid me a lot of money in the form of legal fees. We're going to probably use
If I ran
those
for
firms
president, would
to,
you guys vote for me?
We can. I think we can. I'll make a
Comment yes or
contribution
no.
to the country. But they're great firms. They're the best firms, the biggest, and really the most prestigious. And we may be using them to help you guys out because you're going to need a lot of lawyers. And I'm not sure Pam's going to be happy if I say, can you send over about 200 lawyers that work on trade? She's working on criminal stuff, and I think that's going to be her focus more than anything else. So we'll find out if we can do that. But we have a lot of lawyers that you've been reading about where they paid $100 million a firm on average. Now we have the final 4 or 5 are at $125 million. So I have a lot of legal fees I could give to you people, and we might as well use them. Hopefully I won't need that many legal fees or that much. I may, who knows, after after it ends, after we leave, maybe I'll need it. But if I do, it's not going to be very pleasant. So I think we're going to try to use these very prestigious firms to help us out with the trade, because we have a lot of countries, but we want to make deals that are proper for the United States. Not just we can make deals easily. We want to make them proper.
President, if you aren't able to reach the deals that you want to see at the end of the 90 days, will you put those higher tariffs in place, or will you extend?
Well, that's what would happen. I mean, if we can't make the deal that we want to make, or we have to make, or that's good for both parties, it's got to be good for both parties. And then we go back to.
Always make sure you get out the way for ambulances. Could be some little kid's mom or dad dying, and that's what they're getting to. So always make sure you never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, never, ever, ever block an ambulance.
Lower is the same map normally going to be used, or is that tossed out?
I'm not considering now for any country or company, but it's possible that I would. But I'm not. We don't have a situation right now. People understand where we are, what we're going to do.
Yeah,
but it's called flexibility. You have to have certain flexibility.
What are you planning on using the money to gain for trying to do the tariffs?
Paying down national debt.
Oh yeah, President Trump.
Taxes, creating good budgets, helping Christie with the border and all of the other things.
And the Keystone Pipeline, Trump. Don't forget about the Keystone Pipeline.
571 miles of
energy
water
independence. Come on.
But we're going to beef it up, and we're going to
bring up our energy independence.
And the numbers are incredible. Really, the numbers are what's taking place. We had great numbers, but these numbers are topping my last administration. And Christie and Tom Homan have done an amazing job.
Yes, they have.
But, it's an expensive process. This weekend, where they used to have hundreds of thousands of people standing there pouring through the border in Tijuana, Mexico, this weekend they had nobody. You had a man sweeping this massive piece of concrete, which is, the area where there's massive. And I've looked at that during the Biden administration. You couldn't see a piece of that concrete. There were so many people on it.
Very damn.
You couldn't, if you had helicopter shots, you couldn't see concrete. Now, this weekend, you had nobody there but a man with a broom sweeping it and cleaning it up. Pretty amazing. It's really an amazing job. But it will be used for that. It'll be used for a lot of things. It'll be used by the Department of Justice for doing a great job. Pam is doing a fantastic job. So it's going to be used for a lot of different things.
Mr. President, on the 10% tariff, is that a baseline?
It's a baseline.
Can countries negotiate that to bring that
It depends
down?
on what they're adding. Some countries we have massive deficits with, or they have big surpluses with us. And others it's not that way, so it depends. That's why it's really they're all different. Every country is different. Some have certain advantages that others don't have, certain things. We have China has a surplus of $1 trillion. I mean, the numbers are crazy. And others have basically no surpluses. We have some that are pretty even, but they hurt us another way. It was a little bit different.
So, do you negotiate with the EU as one bloc or individual nations for the tariffs?
We're looking at it as one bloc. They've been very tough, but they were very smart. They were ready to announce retaliation, and then they heard about what we did with respect to China and others, but China. And they said, we're going to hold back a little bit. They decided to hold back. I thought they were very smart. Look, the EU is very smart, but they really have taken advantage of the United States. They were formed for the purpose of taking advantage of the United States. And I don't blame them, and I don't blame China. I don't blame anybody. I blame the people that were sitting at that desk in that other beautiful Oval Office for allowing it to happen. Many presidents I blame. They should have never allowed it to happen. And I'm doing something that a lot of them wouldn't want to do. But I'm here, I do those things.
Bill Clinton is the one who started it all in China.
We were taken advantage of by almost everybody. I sat back in the last administration. I would actually read them. I don't have to read them now. I know them so well. I would read some of these documents that were signed, deals, and I said, who would do a deal like this? Who would do it? You've seen it, Elon. I'd look at deals where it's so one-sided. Even we have a deal with Japan. We get along great with Japan, and we had the Prime Minister here. He was fantastic. As you know, Abe was great. Shinzo was great. He was a good friend of mine, unfortunately no longer with us. But we defend them, but they don't have to defend us.
That's
That
crazy.
doesn't sound too good. We have a deal, a defense deal. We pay hundreds of billions of dollars to defend them. But if for any reason, in other words, we pay all the money, they don't pay anything. But if we're ever attacked, they don't have to do a thing to protect us. I said, oh, that sounds like a wonderful deal. So that's just one out of thousands. And I just wonder who did this. And it's people that either hate our country or didn't care, an expression that you use. I think it's really a lot of them didn't care. It's just hard to believe how bad they are. Now that's a little bit of a defensive deal, but I'm talking about trade deals, the same thing. They're so bad, you would say, how come? And even when I'd renegotiate, like I'd go to a country, they'd give me everything I asked for. I said, why didn't somebody ask for it like originally? They give me everything. I think when they were negotiating, they didn't care, or they didn't ask, or they were shy, or they were very stupid, or they hate our country. Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
You were speaking about Japan. Can you clarify what your vision is for U.S. Steel? You referenced it yesterday.
Yeah.
Questions about what you actually want.
Sure. Look, U.S. Steel is going to do very well now because of tariffs.
Yeah,
I don't
U.S.
know why they
Steel.
even need a deal, but the only thing is U.S. Steel, if you go back 80 or 90 years, that was
This is where the
haymaker.
Blackhawks
That was
play,
our
by the
biggest
way.
miss.
Or practice. They practice here.
If we were around, we would have been very
It's a
proud.
nice
But
skating
we have
rink,
different types
and it's where the
of companies
Blackhawks
that are big.
practice. I
Google.
do practice
It's not the same
games
as
there.
US Steel, and I love Google, and I got to like the people that run it. They're very capable people. They didn't like me so much in the first administration, but they like me a lot now. I don't know what happened, but I like them. But I think they would be the first to admit when I envisioned. You look at some of those steel factories from 90 years ago, it was a different kind of a country, but they were miles long. Today you see just empty hulks. Those hulks are going to be filled up very soon.
Yeah, President Trump.
Tariffs. It was a different kind of a thing. But if
Yeah,
I didn't
let's
do
do
that
it. Made in
my
America.
first term, if I didn't put tariffs on, we would have, because China and others were dumping steel, billions of dollars of steel. Our steel companies were all closing, every factory. We wouldn't have one steel plant open. And now we have a steel industry that's doing very well, but soon it's going to be thriving, really
Yeah,
thriving.
President Trump.
Those factories are going to be filled up, but more importantly, they're going to build brand new ones. Nucor and so many other companies call me, Nucor being a big steel company. They're building massive new steel plants, and it's great. And likewise, car companies. We have many, many car companies. 3 of them, I'm not looking to hurt Mexico, and I like Mexico. And by the way, I think the new president is a terrific person, a fantastic woman. We've had many conversations. She's a very elegant, just a fantastic person. And she's been very nice, very, very nice. But I'm not looking to hurt them, but we have 3 car plants that were under construction in Mexico. They stopped constructing, and now they're going to build in the United States because of tariffs. See, we should have never let this happen, because whoever it was that was president at the time, we lost 90,000 plants and factories since NAFTA. 90,000. It's not believable. How about that, Laura? You're in that sort of world of factories and plants. That's right, we're going to bring them all back.
Another ad I'm not running.
When you're in Illinois, the fun comes in at full speed, and no adventure is
Navy Pier.
Way to Illinois, the middle of everything.
Need a high-quality AI voice like this for your content? Don't be stuck without the perfect narration for your videos,
Welcome to the bustling streets of Marrakesh.
speech for your video games,
Retrieve your treasure from the Paladin's castle.
or any type of project that needs a voice. Simply select from our vast collection of realistic voices. Type out your script and experience high-quality audio instantly.
Space is the journey with no end, the riddle with no answer, the final frontier, and perhaps the ultimate adventure.
So bring your projects to life and sign up for a free trial today with 11 Labs.
25% more than the cost of that car. You're gonna have to pay 25% tariff at the border. They would have never left. They could have kept everybody. If a president said, if you leave this country, you leave Michigan, you leave Detroit, you leave anybody, any of our states, to me, they're all the same. I love them all. I love them all, and I probably won them all, but they say I won most of them. I think I won them all, but that's okay. But all you had to say if you were the president is, if you leave and you think you're going to now fire all those workers, leave all that, everything behind, and you're going to build in another country and sell it any, and no, you're not going to. You're going to pay 50% or 100% tariff. They would have never left. And all you had to say, Marco, all you had to say, very simply, is you don't have to write it down. All you have to do is say it verbally. If you leave, you're going to pay 100% tariff. If
Go
you don't
to
leave,
11
they would have never
Labs.
left. But they left 90,000
For
plants. and it's hard to
making
believe it, man.
videos.
It's not, you can't envision it. So just getting back to your, because I'm the great weaver of all time. To weave, you have to be a genius. To go on tangents, anybody can do that. But we'll get back to your original U.S. Steel. U.S. Steel is a big name in this country. Babe Ruth is a big name. We have a lot of big names, but not too many. U.S. Steel is one of the great names in the history of our country. And normally I wouldn't mind so much. I wouldn't be thrilled with it, but to buy for a foreign country, and we love Japan, but for a foreign country to buy that cherished U.S. Steel brand, that's hard for me to do. And maybe somebody else may want it. The company Nippon that's involved with it is a big, powerful company.
Camera here.
But why can't they just build a plant themselves? I mean, why do they have to, take U.S. Steel? So as you know, I rejected the deal. Now they've come back in a different form. They're coming back as an investor. And I feel better about that, I guess. But, I know them very well. I know the thinking. It's the investor, they'll invest, and somebody else maybe is sitting in this chair, and they will no longer have an investment. They'll have the whole thing. That's the way it works. Very smart. They're very, very smart people. We're dealing with very smart people throughout the world. Great geniuses, actually. Look what they've done to our country. And again, I don't blame China. I don't blame anybody. If I could have done it, if I were in that position, I'd have great respect. I have great respect for the people. They ripped off the United States, and all we had to do, have a president that knew what the hell was going on. And none of those countries would have left. Those companies, none of them.
Clinton is the reason those companies left, and it's free trade agreement
Little
bullshit.
lesson in basic business, and it's really basic business. It's not complicated business. It's very basic business.
Bill Clinton is the
And
whole
we
reason
have
everything's
every one of
made in
those car
China
plants
right
going
now.
just the way
Bill
they were 30
Clinton
years
didn't
ago.
create the
None
Filch
of
free
them would
trade
have left, but now they're
agreement.
coming back.
America would still be strong.
The Labor Department has confirmed that.
Look at that guy.
Thank you very much. We had a very good meeting.
Nigerian,
Talking about a lot of different things. Consumer prices have actually dropped. There's very little inflation. Everybody predicted a lot of inflation, very little inflation. Energy costs are down. Interest rates are probably down. They scatter, but they're probably down. Prescription drug prices are even to down. Very well, it's been amazing. We had a big day yesterday. There will always be transition difficulty, but we had a in history, it was the biggest day in history, the markets. So we're very, very happy with the way the country's running. We're trying to get the world to treat us fairly. This is something that should have been done 25 years ago, and it wasn't. Should have been done 40 years ago, and it wasn't. But no president was willing to take it on, but you had to. It's not sustainable. It wasn't sustainable. And as you know, without a lot of money being added, this is a lot of money that we could add. The country's making approximately $2 billion a day. And when you think of it, we've never done that before. Never come close to it. And the number is probably $1.5 billion a day. And that makes us a very strong country. But we have Scott here and Howard and some of the people that are working on deals. And the biggest problem they have is they don't have enough time in the day. Everybody wants to come and make a deal. And we're working with a lot of different countries. And it's all going to work out very well. I think it's going to work out really very well. But we're in good shape. There's no inflation. There's very little inflation. And I went 4 years without inflation, and I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China and others, taxes in China.
I wasn't being the stalker. That motherfucker in the green fucking car just threw a fucking pop bottle at my car. That's not being a fucking stalker. Did you give Ted your email? I'm working on it. I haven't had time. Yeah, I got his email. I got it. I just haven't had time to email him. It depends on who you're running against. If it's Camilla, I would have told her to pick up. Wonderful. I lacked a fire hydrant once and they break one. Nigerian asshole. Slippery ketchup coming out up here again. There's a Batman villain. There you go. That's how you can tell when you see a spotted Democrat. They look like Batman villains. 99% of the time. Anyways.
But we have nothing to...
I'm in too much pain to be getting on and doing some shit anyways with my fucking arthritis right now.
A word you like to use, Jeff, is transparent. So we want to be transparent, and we'll do that by starting with Pete. Go ahead, Pete.
Yes, Mr. President, we just got back from Panama last night. We were at the Panama Canal with their Southcom commander ships, F-18s, troops, and signed a couple of historic deals. One which is the Panama Canal Authority, a framework for U.S. vessels, first and free through the Panama Canal. Right. And then also a memorandum of understanding with their security minister for the presence of U.S. troops. Fort Sherman is an old U.S. base there, as well as a naval station and air station jointly with Panama to secure the Panama Canal from Chinese influence. That's something you said, we're taking back the canal. China's had too much influence. Obama and others let them creep in. We, along with Panama, are pushing out. So we had a very successful trip there. President Molino sends his regards, very complimentary of the U.S. He's a great ally, and I think they want the Communist Chinese out. And with our troops there partnering with their forces, we've got a chance to push them all the way out. So.
We've moved a lot of troops to Panama and filled up some areas that we used to have. And we didn't have any longer, but we have them now. And I think it's in very good control. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Pete. Very good. Howard?
So, so we've have so many countries to talk to. It is, it's incredible. I think Scott and I, I'm not sure we could ever have enough time in the day to talk to all these countries because they want to talk and they want to talk now. And they come with offers that they never, ever would have come with, but for the moves that the president has made demanding that people treat the United States with respect. We're getting the respect we deserve now, and I think you're going to see historic deals, one after the other. And then I'm very excited that within a week and a half, we're going to start with the gold card and the Trump card. It's coming out, and we're very excited about that, and that's coming soon. So very excited.
Thank you very much. Good job. Linda?
Well, on a couple of fronts, we have been addressing the issue of anti-Semitism on campuses. There's been some grant funding and contract funding that we've reviewed, and some canceled, and some we put on hold, waiting for that, while we do an investigation. On the other side of what my responsibilities are in having education go back to the states, we're meeting and talking with governors. I was with, this week, all 50 commissioners of education around the country, and because we also want to provide them with tools and best practices as education does move back.
We gotta get in this Marine Memorial to see how many American citizens are living here now. We're about to be pulling up on the Marine Memorial, and we had what do you call it? I had some bread in the fucking cooler. I'm gonna heat it up on the little fire, eat a little bit of peanut butter and jelly in my tent over there down by the river. Because I got a tent and I got a van. The van's at the airport right now, the tent's down by that river at the Marine base. So I gotta get down into the river, heat up my Hot Pockets, if they're not already heated up because I had them on a timer. And what's the thing I gotta do then? Nope. But right now, before we do all that, we're going to go see if there's, we're going to try to talk to some of these immigrants living in the Marine base, former Marine base, now Marine Memorial Immigration Shelter, with still the Marine Dedication Memorial, big brick banners out front of the former Marine base, which is now a Marine Memorial, which is now an immigration shelter. And we're going to go see if we can get up in there again. So, like, subscribe, share, hit thumbs up, and we're gonna go give it another shot. Thanks. Alright, bye. Radio, man.
Oh, hey, sweetie. Daddy's face is up here. Okay, there you go. All right, admit. No, too high, honey. There you go. Hey. Huh? Nap time.
So far,
By the border, a lot of money for the border. You're doing a fantastic job. So, we just got a report that as you know, you knew before us. We were surprised we got the vote. And we're happy to get the vote. So I think we're going to be in very good shape. Okay.
Mr. President, last year, the Chinese received 1,700 orders for new ships. American shipyards received 5. Under your leadership, like so many other industries, we're going to revitalize and make shipbuilding and maritime great again with these blue-collar jobs. These are the cranes, the ports, opportunity zones, and driving investment back in. And we have, under that executive order, and also one to streamline foreign military sales for people that want to buy our equipment, and of course acquisition reform, all just this week under your leadership, Mr. President.
So we're going to be rebuilding our shipbuilding business. Right. We may would have to go to Congress for this, but we may buy some ships from other countries that we're close to and that do great jobs with ships, but we're going to start the process of rebuilding. We don't really essentially build ships anymore, which is ridiculous. It's going to be a very big business for us in the not too distant future, but in the meantime, we have countries that do very well at building ships, and we'll be dealing with those countries, and we may be ordering top-of-the-line ships from those countries, and within a fairly short period of time, we'll be building our own ships. So we'll probably have to go to Congress for that, but we're not going to have a problem. Susie, thank you very much for the job you've done. Go ahead, please.
I just wanted to make sure you know that this cabinet, I think, pretty uniquely collaborates and cooperates and works together to accomplish all that you've asked them to do, and I think they deserve a lot of credit for that.
Yes, they do. He's doing everything I voted for Mr. Trump
Chief of Staff, doing a great job. Lee, go ahead.
Mr. President, the Biden EPA was strangulating the economy. The Trump EPA understands it's not a binary choice. We can protect the environment and grow the economy.
Yes, we can, President
working
Trump.
with Doge and Elon Musk, we've now canceled $22 billion worth of grants.
Yeah, I'm emailing
and we have launched what is the largest deregulatory action in the history of the country. Just in one agency. That's how much of a mess the Biden EPA left us.
Wonderful.
It is going to end up reducing the cost of living. It's going to create jobs. It's going to make it easier to purchase a car. It will be easier to heat your home. We're proud of this effort. The effort that we have is fulfilling the mandate that you earned.
The reason I'm not answering in the chat right now is, here, let me show you. That's the reason I really didn't make any videos this weekend. Alright, to start off with. Let's start off with this, actually. So that foot shaped. No straight foot. Oh, I'm sure that's really shaped. See how that foot shaped? You have no idea how painful that is. I got all my toes wiggle, as you can see. All my toes are there. But you see the curvature in the foot? You have no idea how painful it is wearing a shoe like that, especially when the weather's like that. And you break so many bones, and you have a head injury, you grow extra bones sometimes too. So right here, my heel should be here, and this should be the other high spot of my foot. But right here you can see it, right here is one of them, see that? That's all extra bone I grew that shouldn't be there. I got a little bit right here too, but the worst part is right here, because this sticks down further than what my heel sticks down. And just in general, trying to fit this fucking crooked ass foot in a shoe, it's just painful on its own. You can see I got all the pins. I got them through my thighs, through my calves, through my feet. My other foot isn't curved like this, but it's got the same scars of all the metal plates going through there. And yeah, it's really, really painful, especially when the weather's humid and raining like this and shit. Here, hang on, let me show you a little more. Hold on a second, let me get my sack back on.
Who are learning how to be mechanical engineers to rebuild and fix the engines on those ships, but also how to sail ships. I would tell you that over the past decades, this academy has become, it needs some love. It's been a little bit dilapidated. We have to invest in sailors, and I appreciate you taking the initiative. To be a global power, we have to build ships and have sailors to sail those ships. These are the very people that help Pete should we come into points of crisis to support the military. So thank you for that. Number two, the last administration announced 3,200 projects, big, beautiful roads and bridges. Most of them were good. But they announced that they didn't sign a grant agreement. 3,200, so the money doesn't go out the door to build the infrastructure in the country. And it's fun to do an announcement. It's actually the harder work to put together these grant agreements. So we're doing the work right now at DOT to get these grant agreements done and build the projects. Most of them are good. And they also put in all of this green and social justice requirements on roads and bridges. We're pulling all that out and putting the money toward the infrastructure, not the social movement.
Good steel, right, as opposed to green paper mache. Okay, thanks, great job.
Sir, first, we are, I would say, more than friends. We've all become family, and I think that what
you have assembled in your vision is a turning point and an inflection point in American history. And so just being a part of that is the greatest honor.
Hold
so
on.
thank you for that.
Hold
And,
on,
and again,
take
just
a
the relationships here and the honor and respect we have for each other is a reflection of you and your leadership. So I just want to say that first. The second thing I want to say is that
It's how that foot was. You got no idea how painful it is, just especially when the weather's like this.
We have to be able to feed ourselves. And your idea of using tariffs along with deregulation and tax cuts, but your idea of using tariffs to ensure that we are putting forward and putting America first, no one understands that better than our farmers and our ranchers. But having said that, emerging from 4 years of Biden with a 30% increase in inputs for our farmers and ranchers, with an almost $50 billion trade deficit, we left the first time it was zero, meaning that they are hurting. So the period of uncertainty we're in, they know that your vision will move us into an age of prosperity. For all Americans, but for my people, for the farmers and ranchers,
one plate here and a second plate right up here.
They are really, really
this one sticks out through the bicep. I'll show it to you at a better time, maybe in the next live. But yeah, that's